Or waffle. How will we gain runes? Via stat gating and being awarded to us, or as loot? Some of that's covered in the progression system. So stay tuned. Londo, on naming spells, will name be visible to everyone? Guys, again, haven't gone, all the way with that idea yet. So, as what I said a little bit earlier, still in the early stages. Question from Ike about dots. Will dots be useful? Yeah, they've got to be useful. I mean, a dot is a perfectly necessary spell to these kind of games. Well, guys who just asked a whole bunch of questions, I now have to. I can't see any of them because the room was sped up, and so 8 pages approximately of questions just went by. So please keep it on slow mode, guys, even if it means we have to wait a little bit. So you guys are going to all have to ask your questions again. I'm really sorry. Question from Cardassian, will each realm have its own runes? The answer is some will be common, some will be absolutely specific to the realm or to the class. You know, Obviously, we need to have non-mirrored classes and non-mirrored realms. So, you're going to see that in the game as well. Will you be dead folk? Will you be able to recognize someone from casting? And that's a great question. I mean, that's a hugely important question in RVR because obviously you guys who saw Warhammer's early presentations, the ones that I was in, I talked about being able to recognize people, by their silhouette, as well as other ways. Yes, there will be ways, obviously, to see the spell while it's being casted, and there are other things or other spells, excuse me, that can help reveal what elements or what runes, what components another mage, or a mage is aligned with. Question from Seahole: how can we make this fun? Because that's what it boils down to. Great ideas aside, bad ideas aside, even. The question is how much fun it can be. And that's, again, one of the reasons why we are talking about it now, why we didn't spend months on the X Factor, put together a great demo of this system, for you guys and just say, yep, this is it. We're done. This is what we're going to do. This is something we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it with you on the forums. We're going to talk about it in internal test and in alpha. It has to be fun. Because if it isn't fun, then there is absolutely no point in making this system. Question from Predator about line of sight. Certainly, LOS was an issue in certain other games that I was a part of, as well as other MMOs. Line of sight is a very important component to this system. It's a very important component as well with dealing with buff bots. So yes, you can expect to see LOS be important. Yes, a good question from Maricus about how creative we can get with magic. Absolutely, we want you to be able to be creative. Can I promise that that's going to be in version 1.0? Nope. Do I want to get really creative with the system? Absolutely. The core, obviously, I should stop saying obviously so much, but the core component of this game is RVR. So we're going to focus the team on making spells, on creating effects, on doing the things that they need to do for RVR. After that, being creative would be really good. And just so you guys know, the document that you've seen and the document that we use here as well is a fairly simplified version of where we'd like to go with this eventually. From Itzes, what about hybrids? What about them? Nothing wrong with hybrids in this system. Frankly, this system is actually kind of hybrid friendly. So, as we've talked about as well during the Kickstarter and, post, I have no problem at all with hybrids. Ananuk, good question. So, I talk about powerful archers. Okay, talked about powerful tanks, powerful mages. Will everything be one shot? No, no, no. One shotting was an issue in certainly Dark Age of Camelot for a little bit, and other games, as well. Uh, this game won't succeed if everyone is so powerful that they can one shot each other. But can you still have a lot of power in the game? If power is defined only by the amount of damage you do relative to your health, yeah, that would be a problem. On the other hand, powerful doesn't only have to be defined by the amount of damage you do. Dreadnought, having tons of different combinations could add up real quickly. Yeah, yeah, that's been brought to my attention, already, and that was, my comment back was, yeah, I kind of know that. But you're absolutely correct, and that is a concern for the team. It's a concern, for example, for Mike Rossmeyer, being the effects guy. Um, it is something that we're going to have to, deal with, and we're going to have to be very careful with. But also, keep in mind that unlike, other games, without having a PvP leveling component, without having a lot of things as well other than RVR, we do have a little extra time to work on things like this. From Jakarta, will there be AoE effect caps? Oh, come on, guys. I've said this. No, right now, no caps on AoE spells. It doesn't mean that there won't be by the time we're done if we can't balance them properly. But we're going into this with saying, look, we've got to, really be careful with all the spells, but also not be unwilling as well to say, yeah, we're going to have some powerful spells in this game. We will. That's all there is to it. Question from Abnormal, curvy pins or curved pins. Will there be a pet class in this game? Right now, no pet classes. Again, focus is on, RVR combat. Pets add difficulty. Pets add, obviously, a whole bunch of triangles to it, and we're not worrying about them right now. Gylor, I hope there will be a good anti-mage class. Well, if we're going to put powerful mages, we've got to give the ability to kill said mages. Question from Ryan Hill: do you think that mages will be Do you think that mages will be the majority of the population? No, I don't. I could be wrong. We'll see. I think that given my experience in playing and certainly working on multiple MMOs, that mages are cool at a lot of levels, but there are issues with them as well, and some players won't want to play them. Will there be spells that are intended from Shindoris to hurt keeps more than players? Certainly there will be combinations that will work better on stone than on flesh. Question from Ali about adding a fire or ice effect to weapons. Could be. Chevrolet asks about friendly fire. Right now, there are no plans for friendly fire. It is something we have talked about. It is something that we will continue to talk about. But as of now, no plans for friendly fire, mainly because friendly fire can be used by guys to grief other guys. Question from Ohai about being careful with magic after seeing what added speed and damage did to Dark Age. Look, it's all balance. I mean, that's the question. Can we balance a system like this regardless of what we did on Dark Age or I did on Dark Age or what we did on Warhammer or any other game? It's a matter of making it all work together. Tearless is an electric spell while wearing plate armor during a rainstorm. Hazardous idea. Oh, well, it depends. I'm looking forward to the laughter factor when somebody tries. I can't wait. I'm hoping that our system can be complex enough that people can try that and sometimes backfire because self-roasting mage is certainly an interesting thing. Number of questions on reagents. As per the presentation, it is something we are thinking about with all the different components that go into making a spell. The question is that something that we're going to use, quite frankly, to make playing a mage a little bit more difficult, than maybe some of the other classes? That very well may be. I mean, look, if you want that power, it's got to come as a price, as was asked earlier. If everyone is powerful, then doesn't this game turn into a one, a two-shot game? Or if the mages are so powerful and don't have enough, drawbacks, will everyone play, mages? Coffee Lord, should self-roasted mages be served with red or white wine? Oh, nice rosé, actually. Question from Loki about crowd control. I'll say the same thing I've said about crowd control right from the beginning. Yes, there will be, and it has to be significant. Question regarding Asheron's Call and spell discovery system. Well, that's kind of what we're talking about, that you're going to have to practice with spells and try different things. Starfighter, interesting question on mage eating and spell eating classes. I think that is something absolutely worth considering, especially when you think about the air system. From Contino, should we expect a whole new kind of magic, different from Fire, Water, Classic? Yeah, absolutely. Fire, water, earth, all that basic elements, something that we're certainly going to have in the game, especially when you think about the whole concept of a siege, right? Kind of important to have things like fire and water and earth and air. On the other hand, there are other runes, there are other components, there are other powers that you'll be able to call on to create these combinations. Waco, how will you make the spellcrafting work with the horizontal character progression system? Yep, that's one of the challenges, no question. But it's really no different if you think about it than abilities. Some of the fear about this kind of system, especially in regards to horizontal progression, is how do you make it work? Well, you make it work in the same way they have to make abilities work. I mean, if we were announcing that this game was going to have more magic spells than any other game in the world, you guys would raise the same objection, or the same, not even objection, but concern. And it's the same, here as well, whether it's a combination of runes, whether it's, a combination, or it's a number of different abilities, it's all got to balance out. So, we've made it a little bit more difficult for ourselves, certainly with this system. It's worth a chance, though. And when we're going to it's worth a shot. And we're going to give it a chance to succeed. Question about stealth mages. No plans on stealth mages, right now. Okay, Rilos, can you reduce backfire? Yeah, absolutely. Question from Excalibur about scrolls. Do we see scrolls as part of this game? Scrolls potentially for helping teach a spell, maybe. Scrolls that are instantly consumable and very powerful, so that they become the Camelot Unchained equivalent of